idea, one beer, one kid, one gun, one fight, that fatal one night that would make dad run. I often ask, did I play a role in that outcome? And if I did as a kid, I often ask, how come? We're from living in the Bay to the Roxbury slums, where I shot my first jumper and saw my first jump, standing on the corner chewing on rocks like gum. The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is the announcement of the big fight, Iron Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. It wasn't too long ago when G brought up the idea of having a Legends League, and it looks like that idea is coming to fruition. So shout out to G for coming up with that idea. They might have heard. I don't know. Maybe they watch Boxing Bros.
No, they might owe you a check. It might owe you a check.
I check the Boxing Bros USA.
So G brought that up, and now the fight's coming. I was excited at first. Then I saw Mike Tyson on ESPN, and then there's this article from Wide World of Sports where it says, no KOs, fight fans let down by Mike Tyson, come back, fight, fine print. And basically it says, while the announcement of Mike Tyson's comeback fight against Roy Jones Jr. had the sports world in pandemonium, emerging details of the looming clash have given way to a sense of disappointment among fight fans. The 54-year-old former world heavyweight champion will fight Roy Jones in an 8-round exhibition on September 12th. Despite his age, Tyson assured the matchup would be a legitimate clash between two greats eager to wind back the clock. It's just going to be amazing, Tyson told ESPN. It's 100% of it. It's 100% of it looking to be Mike Tyson in the ring. I've got one speed forward. Tyson also assured amid the concerns for the veteran's safety, both he and Roy Jones would be all right and that they knew how to protect themselves. But it now appears that might not be the whole truth, with new details suggesting the pair have agreed to avoid going for knockouts in what will largely be an exhibition display. According to Kevin Lau of Yahoo Sports, who first broke the news on Thursday, Tyson and Jones will be wearing bigger gloves to minimize damage and won't be trying to knock each other out. This isn't a situation where they're going out there to try to take each other's head off. Andy Foster, the executive director of the California State Athletic Commission, told Lau, they're just going to be moving around in the ring and letting fans see the legends. So Kevin Lau wrote, Tyson Jones fight will be an exhibition bout with bigger gloves, perhaps 12 ounce. They'll meet with Andy Foster of the CSAC on Zoom recently. They aren't going to try for KOs September 12th at Dignity Health Sports Park. It's a bizarre admission from the fight administrators, considering Tyson's long-standing and undisputed reputation as one of the greatest knockout artists there's ever been. And here you see Robbie Fox writes, they're not going to try for KOs. Hell of a way to sell Mike Tyson's comeback fight. And you see certain people are really disappointed with that. So first I'll start with this. One, what were your initial thoughts to the announcement of the fight? And then what were your thoughts after hearing that this may be nothing more than a glorified sparring match? I'll start this one off with Complex.
When I first heard it, honestly, I was a little bit disappointed. I personally, I'm not interested in seeing old fighters fight like that because I don't want to see an old guy get hurt. You're in your 50s. You know, some guys can keep it going late in their career. That's cool. But I'm not really interested in seeing, like, guys who are way past their prime, fought years ago, then come back for a money grab. To me, it's sad. It's something we've seen in boxing, and it's unfortunate. You know, it's the nature of the sport. A lot of guys, their money gets messed up, and then they end up having to do things later on in life that is not so great. Now, Roy Jones and Tyson are two of the best, absolute best of all time. Amazing fighters. And if this fight was 20 years ago, like it should have been, I might have been interested. I would have been interested because they were actually supposed to fight when Roy won the belt from Ruiz. He was supposed to fight Tyson, but then he didn't take the fight. And then Tyson, I think, ended up losing a couple of times, retiring. We all know what happened to Roy. Went back down to light heavyweight. Ended up his career kind of derailing shortly after that.
Forced to lean back.
He was forced to. That's true. You know, to Fat Joe.
Roy, I'm joking. Don't come at me. Don't come at me like
you gotta be careful.
I'm joking, Roy.
He'll pull up on you. But no, it's like I'm not really that interested in seeing these two guys fight. And then I knew it was a money grab from Jump Street. Then when they said it's exhibition, I was like, of course it is. It's not a real fight. It's gonna be two guys moving around, doing something for the fans, and that's cute and that's cool. People were excited because they think about the old Tyson, the I'm gonna bite your ear off Tyson, the my defense is impregnable, my style is ferocious, I want to eat your children. You know what I mean? That's what people think of Tyson. But let's be real, Tyson is a far, far, far away from that guy. You know what I mean? And we want to believe that we can see something like that again because he was a unique talent in the sport, but that's not him anymore, and we got to get past that, as boxing fans. And it's kind of sad when you have a fight against two retired fighters is getting so much press. It might be one of the biggest fights of the year. People who don't even talk about boxing, I saw them commenting, like, oh, I'm going to watch that. Like, oh, snap, they're fighting. Oh, I'm going to order that. I mean, that fight might supersede any other fight in boxing right now, save for Floyd Mayweather, which is kind of sad. We need more big fights in the sport if this is what's going to bring people's attention to retired fighters. Look, I don't want to see either guy get knocked out. Roy Jones has been knocked out a bunch of times recently. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Tyson get knocked out because his last few fights were kind of sad. They're going to make a little money. Okay, cool. I'm not going to order it. I'm not even interested in watching it. Whatever happens. But
we go to G's house to watch it.
Yeah, honestly, isn't it the same night?
Like boxes lives matter, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't want to support that, but I think it's actually the same night Canelo's supposed to fight.
Yeah, I believe. Man, listen.
So that's gonna be interesting.
It is. That's supposed to be that in itself might be huge dent in what they can generate, but you still have the floor complex unless you're done.
Nah, I'm done. I mean, I look, respect to both guys. Hope they have fun, whatever. I hope they make some money. I hope they're good. I hope they're living good lives because they deserve it. They put their whole life into the sport, and they deserve it. But I don't want to see two old guys fighting life and death. I don't want to see them getting hurt, getting cut, knocked out. It's different when you're young, in shape fighter, when you're in the game. It's when you're older, it could be really damaging. So, it is what it is. I'm not really that amped. I wasn't that amped, and I'm not that amped to see it. But good luck to them. Have fun. Make some money and go home safe.
All right, G.
Yeah, listen here, man. And I say this all due respect. I don't give a damn what complex.
All due respect.
Yeah, I don't care what Trail or Complex is talking. Initially, I definitely wanted to see this fight. I was actually excited. And I was like, yo, listen, even though I got the zone, I wouldn't have to pay pay-per-view for Canelo. I was like, if I had to choose between the two, I'm picking the Tyson versus Jones fight over Canelo's fight, even if unless Canelo was going to fight David Benavidez or maybe Caleb Smith. Then I was like, I'll be torn. But everyone else, I'm like, nah, bro, I'm going to Tyson versus Roy Jones on this one. But when now they talking, which I'm not against 12-ounce gloves, to be honest, because of, obviously their age and things of that nature. And it's not like they said headgear. If they said headgear, I'm like, I'm not paying. I don't know how much they're going to charge for this pay-per-view, but if they got headgear, I'm definitely not paying for it. But now that they're making this argument of, they're in agreement that they're not going for the knockout, I'm like, all right, you know what? It was good while it lasted, but now it doesn't seem like what I envisioned, especially seeing how they were promoting Tyson and, when he was hitting the mitts. It looked like flashes of the old Iron Mike where he's going for the kill. And then I'm like, if you're not going to try to go for the kill, then why are people paying to see this fight? It just doesn't make sense. Now, in regards to their age, like 154, 151, I'm not necessarily bothered by it for the simple fact that, I listen to these guys on interviews, podcasts. I see Roy Jones training all the time with Eubank Jr. You know what I mean? Like, I see, like, both of these guys have all their faculties, you know what I mean? And so clearly they are shadows of themselves. But however, they're still both heavyweight fighters and elite level champions, right? You know what I mean? It may not be today, but they were. So it still would be competitive to a degree. And so I really wanted to see these two guys like duke it out in the ring. But if they're both like, we're not really gonna go 100%, then I kind of agree with Complex, but for different reasons. I don't necessarily want to pay for this fight now if I know they're not going for the knockout. Like when I want to see a heavyweight fight, I'm expecting a knockout. When I see like lightweights and all that, I'm expecting, 12 rounds of action. But when I see heavyweights, I'm expecting somebody going to leave like on the ground, waking up, looking at people like, what happened to me? That's what I want to see. Now, do I want to see them get hurt? No, obviously because of their age. But I do want to see some action, man. It's just crazy. Like, what is the point of having two heavyweight legends? Well, Roy's not necessarily a heavyweight legend, but he moved up to heavyweight. What's the point of having two household names clash, but they can't bang, like really, really like duke it out? So I'm not really impressed by that, man. I don't think I'm gonna buy the fight if in fact this is what's gonna happen.
I'm upset at myself because I should have seen this coming. Now, hey, G-Style, walk with me. There's this movie called Grudge Match starring Robert De Niro and Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger, I messed it up. Now here I am mixing people. Sylvester Stallone, right? Sly. Robert De Niro and Sylvester Stallone, right? And these are old guys, like De Niro's Kid and Stallone Sharp, right? And Kid and Sharp, they had 2 fights in their youth, in their prime, and they split. And so they're old men, and they're old now in their 60s, and then they decide they're going to have a grudge match, right? And in the grudge match movie, Roy Jones is playing one of the commentators. In the movie, the grudge match ends with Kevin Hart, who plays the promoter, trying to promote a trilogy fight between Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. So what's funny is in this movie Grudge Match, where these old dudes come back to the sport of boxing to fight, you actually had Roy Jones in that movie and you had Mike Tyson in that movie. And now you have these 2 old dudes signing up to fight one another. Unfortunately, in the movie, it was an actual fight though. No headgear, regular gloves. And this fight, they're talking about it being a glorified sparring match. When I originally heard the fight, the announcement of the fight, I thought, wow, why are they doing this to Roy Jones? Roy Jones has been knocked out several times by inferior competition we know he would have easily demolished in his prime. Ever since I saw Roy get knocked out by the Road Warrior Glenn Johnson, I knew he wasn't the same man. So Roy's been known for getting knocked out. So initially I thought they picked Roy Jones to make Mike Tyson look good. They picked Roy Jones so that Mike can just knock him out and then say he's back and possibly set up some other stuff. Like, this is an exhibition. Mike knocks out Roy. They say, oh, he's back. And then they try to get him, professional, make him fight a professional fight again. But then I started to see rumblings that they're going to be wearing headgear, big gloves, and there's an agreement to not knock one another out. And that's when I started to say, okay, then this is just, a money grab, basically. This is just a glorified sparring session. And it's unfortunate to me because it didn't have to be that. It didn't have to be Roy Jones. In fact, if it was me, I would have done something different. I would have made Mike Tyson come back in a professional fight, assuming he can get medically cleared, because I don't know that. But they're getting cleared to do this exhibition. So if he gets medically cleared, I would have had him come back in a professional fight. He gets one of Boxing Bros' favorite fighters to discuss, Malik Scott. Iron Mike Tyson versus Malik Scott in an 8th rounder. Who would you? I lean towards Mike. And we know
they
Scott
got on his OnlyFans page. They're streaming live on OnlyFans.
We know Scott is live.
They're gonna watch that fight.
But
streaming live.
Yeah. So that'd be like, but for me, it's clearly a money grab. I have much respect for both fighters and what they accomplish in the sport. Definitely some of the best nights I've ever had in boxing was watching Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight. So more power to them. I think people are playing on that. The nostalgia, the fact that like you're just so invested in Mike because he brought you so much entertainment throughout the course of your life for people like us, and same with Roy Jones. And so it's like, if you're so used to never missing a Mike and Roy fight, how can you miss this?
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like even Michael Jordan, right? As old as he is, if Michael was like, yo, you know what? I just want to play one game against LeBron. We know LeBron will wash Jordan right now, but we still going to tune in.
There's people who still think Jordan to get him.
The people will still watch it only because it's like, yo, we're talking about a guy who practically transcended the sport. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain greats where you're like, damn, yo, they were that dominant. You know what I mean? And we tend to overlook all of their flaws. Like, we just forget all of their flaws and only focus on their greatness. That's what Mike Tyson brings, even in 2020. But the fact that they talking like, oh, Mike Tyson is not going to knock out somebody, like, bro, this ain't Mike Tyson. You know, it's like, it's a waste of my time and money, man. Like,
yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to OG basketball legend. At least it is mine, but I give him props. He does have a resume. This man named Steve Malloy. Let me tell you, this dude, Steve Malloy, is about 6'6". He played for Cleveland State in his heyday. He's pretty good basketball player in his day. But, like, he's old now, and we play basketball on Saturday mornings, what we did before the pandemic hit. And, this dude would, like, text me pictures of his sneakers. He texted me pictures of like the Dawn of the Dead cover and say like how he's going to do me up on the court, right? One time he called me and he was like, look out your window. And I looked out my window and his car was parked outside my crib. And then when I looked out the window, he honked his horn and then he drove off. And I was just like, he's one of those, he talks like so much trash and like tries to get in your head like he's going to do you up on the court. But he's old. So, like, I give him buckets, right? I give him, like, 5 buckets, right? And then Malloy will just hit one shot on me, like one turnaround jumper, and the whole gym will go, oh! He's dapping up everybody, and everyone says 2 weeks later is, remember when Malloy hit that jumper in your face? And I'm like, get out of here. Like, so.
True. Like,
so
if Wilder fought Tyson right now, right? All Tyson has to do is hit him with a mean body shot. Like, that would just have Wilder, like, wobble a little bit. And if Wilder just knocked him out, people would still be like, yo, but you see what happened, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
look at that little
imagine if Tyson was 2 years younger and he landed that right.
It's younger. You know what I mean? Like, it just is what it is, man. We just value the greats that much, where it's like we're willing to overlook a lot of their flaws. Yo, think about people do that with Pacquiao right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, Pacquiao could do no wrong. It's like, yo, come on, bro. Like,
you better be careful, dog. Them the Pacquiao fans could be after you, dog.
I don't mean no disrespect.
Using opinions of G do not reflect the
I was before, but what I'm saying
with him on this.
Yeah, but certain people, it's like they're great, and so because they're great, we overlook their flaws or their mishaps. We just go like, nah, I ain't trying to hear none of that. He gonna kill this dude come Saturday night. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, like so that's why to me it's like, man, Malik is gonna wash a Mike Tyson, bro. Like, let's just be real. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, come on, you okay to stop it, bro? Stop it. Oh, that's Malik. Oh, yeah, you're right. Malik will get dropped a fake hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you're right.
He's better acting though.
Over Scott, you know what I mean? He'll do whatever it takes for the check, So you're right. But anything else, fellas?
Nah, man, take us home.
All right. So please, people, let us know what y'all thoughts on the Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones fight or exhibition. Yeah, this is the Boxing. All right. Please like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Also, listen to our podcast on all major podcast networks platforms. Again, it's the Boxing Bros.
wanna see what's on your mind. You wanna see what's on my mind. Pimpin' all the time. I wanna know if you wanna be mine. You wanna know if you can be mine. Pimpin' all the time. I wanna see what's